Kristine, at least the low-level center, may now just be exiting northwestern Luzon, just around La Union, but the storm is not over yet. Despite the fact that the low-level center did pass basically right over Isabela, over towards Baguio, and into the La Union area, the worst of the weather we have been seeing has been further down towards the south, due to, which, not a meteorological term, but it really defines it, this kind of blob of convection we have been seeing consistently south of the center of circulation, all thanks to the inflow coming in out from the West Philippine Sea, and you have that northwesterly wind towards the north, kind of providing a bit of shear. Places like Laguna have been seeing heavy flooding rains continuously. We're looking over towards Batangas here, where you're seeing these images of water level rises continuing to take place from this storm system due to the heavy rainfall associated with this area just down towards the south. And that comes on the heels of the devastating floods we've seen into the Naga City area. Not to mention, on top of that, if we do zoom in on satellite picture, despite the fact all the heavy rain was in here and that low level center was here and we're on the west coast, we did get a bit of funneling. This was something I was worried about. Those winds that wrapped around the northern areas of Luzon kind of pushed on shore. In parts of Pangasinan, we did see some storm surge that we see here in these images too. So there is a wide range of impacts from this storm system, but a lot of it, oddly enough, not near the direct center of circulation. And it goes back to what I was saying for the last few days. The storm has not been a classic low-level center type storm. See here in microwave imagery, we kind of had an eye trying to develop up out here, and you see that as it passed right over Isabela. But for the most part, we had kind of this big donut shape of a storm, meaning that the winds were kind of at their highest away from the center of circulation. We're still even seeing that here on our Thursday evening, with some of the higher winds still extending back down towards the west into the Manila area, Subic area, and basically a big kind of fat eye. I wouldn't call it an eye by any means. I mean, look at it. It's definitely a disrupted low-level circulation sheltered by the mountains here, but it does have the same concept that you'd feel. Basically, if you're closer to the center of circulation, especially across the Cagayan Valley, you really had the winds coming from the east, hit by Sierra Madres, wrapped around to the west coast, running into the mountains, and it just allowed for some of the winds to back off a bit. Now, didn't stop the rainfall, which is causing places like the Cagayan River, you see these images here, starting to rise. So we are looking at flooding in some areas out here across parts of the Cagayan Valley too. So it's a multifaceted impact of a storm system. Despite the fact Poland Wave still got red level rainfall warnings in Laguna, Rizal, over towards Batangas, where I mentioned we already have still been seeing these floodings out here. We still see signal force 3 across the west coast from Ilocos Sur, La Union into Pangasinan, due to the backside of that storm continuing to wrap in, and this all while it continues to pull away. But going back to the fact that I do mention, this is the big donut shape of a storm, so we have those winds extending well back down towards the south, and they really aren't going to back off until about Friday morning, despite the fact the low-level center continues to kick off here, and eventually is going to head off towards Hainan or into central Vietnam. Now, there is some questions on the long-range forecast. Now, there is some guidance that shows us doing a little loop here, maybe stalling out just off the coast of Hainan. I can't stress enough, that would not mean it's going to head back towards the Philippines. If it does something like that, it more or less is just kind of getting blasted by shear in dry air from the northeast monsoon, which would be great news, because that would weaken it out before it comes on shore around Da Nang, and definitely causing some vastly improving conditions for them. So let's hope that it weakens out like that and gets hit by some shear, and it wouldn't turn around and come back towards the east in that scenario. Looking at the closer look here, though, this is by Friday morning into the afternoon. We do finally start to see those vastly improving conditions for our friends here across Luzon as our storm starts to pull away. And then we look at the long-range ECMWF, kind of showing the very similar outcome. And then we can kind of see what I'm talking about here as we go through Friday, heading into Saturday, as our storm slows off the coast of Hainan. You can see once again here the bulk of the convection towards the southwest of the low-level center. That's indicating to me that this is probably not going to go typhoon status. It's probably going to get weakened out. And what we're going to see is maybe an exposed low-level center causing this to continue to weaken. Fingers crossed on that. And hopefully that does happen for our friends into Vietnam. But that means also we'll stay well south of Hong Kong. If I have anybody watching from that area, kind of worried about the potential of impacts from this storm system for you guys too. Do want to change topic gears here a little bit for our friends in Guam. We are watching another storm system. Yep, here we go. We got a storm developing out there just towards your south and east. Probably could run right over you. And then that very well could run towards the west. And just like the last one, maybe a scenario where the cold surge pushes it towards the south. I think in this particular scenario would be more of a Taiwan, Okinawa threat. But hey, long-range forecasting is hard. And I'm going to do my best to keep you guys posted on it. But yeah, I would definitely watch it even here in northeastern Luzon. This is actually from the Guam National Weather Service. They're calling it 98W, just around Chuuk towards the east of Guam. And yeah, they're saying that this is a disturbance that does have that high chance of tropical development. So they're monitoring it even here with the Guam National Weather Service, of course. All right, so big thanks for everybody who supports this channel. Big thanks for our Patreon members who also help us out here. People like Garmin who donate way over $20 a month. You can check out the link down below if you guys want to help out our Patreon. And some of our sponsors, which I'm going to give Front Runner Financial some love here. Their link is down below too, frontrunnerfinancial.com, if you want to check them out. As always, thanks for watching though, and boy, it's been a long couple days. My heart goes out to everybody impacted by this storm system. Stay safe out there, friends. Do you hate doing your taxes? Do you struggle figuring out what the law is and money management overseas?
I wish there was an easier way.
Well, FrontRunnerFinancial.com is your choice if this falls into your category. They're an international-based group of American accountants. They're based in Manila, and they're qualified to give you the best information where you are for those international finances. I wish I had these guys when I lived in Tokyo. Each year, it was a struggle. Where I needed to put money, what I needed to do. FrontRunnerFinancial.com. Be sure to check them out and let them know we sent them your way.